Everybody, welcome back to the Healthy Living Scottsdale Podcast. I'm Coach Adam. I'm here with Coach Terra and Coach Damon, week 2 in a row here. Dream team. We're going to go ahead and get into a little bit about pre and post workout supplements to kind of help. And we've been getting a lot of questions really on that as people have been doing their in-bodies and check-ins here in the gym. But before we get into it, we've got a client of the week, kind of a combo situation here because they're both dealing with a similar injury, but staying super consistent in the evenings. Even Friday night, the dark hours are rolling in. It's starting to get dark a little bit early, but they're still in here grinding even with these injuries. And that's because I think they're putting the consistency as, in the forefront of their brain is super important. And that is both Chris Culliver and Steve Sunshine, both dealing with nagging right shoulder, kind of in like bicep tendon area injuries. And they've both been super great and also had a lot of great questions about, what they can do at home, kind of outside of the gym to help expedite or at least enable them to continue, because they're just super great with consistency. I have not seen them miss at all. So obviously they love coming in and don't want to lose that and understand that that's super important. So big shout out to them. Been giving them, PT type exercises to do at home. But we're going to talk a little bit today about some supplements that could help kind of fill gaps. And that's really what supplements are. Especially, if somebody has deficiencies and things like that, we don't want to, supplements are not magic and we don't want to rely on them. Your nutrition, sleep, training consistency, and other forms of recovery are really the most important parts to, reaching the goals that you want to achieve. But let's go ahead and get into, if you guys have a couple of examples maybe of times recently that people have asked about supplements, then we could start with the pre's or the posts or whatever it is. Anything come to mind recently?
So what comes to mind at least in the early mornings, a lot of the times people are coming in, I'm asking them, like, did you eat something in the morning or have you taken anything? And most of the time they put nothing in their body whatsoever. And I ask them, why is that? And they're just like, oh, I'm not hungry in the morning, or I can't eat. And one thing I want to be able to give them information on is it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be a breakfast with eggs, toast, bacon, and all that stuff. It could be just as simple as an apple, a banana, just that carb source to get that energy going, so that way you can at least function through that workout. And that was kind of one of the big things that I saw. It's where, for example, some people in the 5 a.m. today,
especially that early
morning
spot.
Big time. The 5 a.m.s especially, I see them getting gas more than normal versus, of course, people at 11 o'clock where they have more time.
Yep.
But it's just that simple fact of you're putting nothing in your body. You were asleep for maybe 8 hours, hopefully.
Yeah.
But optimally 8 hours, but probably 7 or 6 knowing that early. Yeah. But you've been asleep for that long, put nothing in your body, no water, no nothing. You got to be able to do something right when you wake up, because you were that long with not putting anything in your system. So it's just super important to at least get something.
Yeah, it's almost like it's, obviously you have to make adjustments and sometimes, make some sacrifices that you don't necessarily want to reach the goals that you want. And I think early morning or like pre-workout small doses of food or something like that, it's more to do a job and not necessarily because, okay, like I'm hungry, I got to eat right now. It's, physiologically it's going to benefit you and fuel you throughout, the workout. So you can optimize your workout if it's in the early morning. And same thing comes in the evening. Like if you're coming straight from work and the last time you ate, I had somebody the other day and this was at 6 p.m. and she was feeling sick. And you're thinking, oh, maybe she ate like 20, 30 minutes ago and she's feeling sick, we're going to see it again kind of thing. And I asked her, when's the last time that you ate? And she goes, 10:30.
This morning?
In the morning. And this is at 6, it was halfway through the workout at this point, so it was like 6:30. I'm like, so you're, what is that, like, I don't even math, like it's 9 hours, yeah,
8-9 hours,
so
in there.
where is your energy source coming from, where there's no way that you're going to feel good going into a workout and expecting to perform to the levels that you want without the correct fuel source? So how about we just go with, to start, like some pre-workout, maybe supplements or things that we feel like can help benefit people before their workout outside of food. What we got?
In the simple standpoint, I'm big on at least having a food source of some sort. I would rather be that the primary source.
Yeah.
So, for example, for at least the early morning birds, having an apple, having a banana, just some fruit that's low in calories but high in carbs, that's going to be able to help you at least get the energy throughout that workout.
Wait, I'm supposed to eat carbs?
Wow, that's crazy. Yes, carbs is energy, guys.
We get fat, though.
You did not.
That's an excess of carbs.
Oh, excess. Okay.
Excess.
Okay, so we should be eating, the right amount of carbs, the right type of carbs to provide fuel for our bodies, and then we can, actually have a high quality workout, is what you're saying.
Exactly. So, like, fruit, low in calories, but it's still high in those carbs, versus, I'm trying to think, like pancakes, for example, that's going to be high in calories. Like, yeah, you're getting the carbs, but in that standpoint, that's probably going to be heavy duty.
Yeah, that fruit's got the natural sugar too, not refined stuff.
Yeah, not that maple syrup.
You got anything for pre?
I would say adding to that carbs, particularly most times a protein, whether it's actual protein, like as far as a meat source, or like a pre-workout that has a protein aspect to it. I know a lot of people, or as an athlete, a lot of former athletes I trained with, like the whey protein, because it provides both that carb and the protein source. And like coming back to recovery, I like providing the body with protein prior to the workout. Yes, it's beneficial after, but when you use it or have it in your system prior to the workout, it also helps with that recovery, because it helps lower that muscle soreness that you feel, because when you are working out, the muscles are breaking down those protein sources, or that protein in the muscle to get the gains that you want. But if I have the protein in my system, I already have something I can pull from.
Right.
So as it's breaking down, I'm already pulling and getting stuff to already start repairing those muscles. So I like the protein before.
Yeah, I think it's it's good. You should definitely have protein before. A little bit careful with timing.
Very true.
Right.
Don't be 5 minutes before.
Right.
It's not going to help you.
Don't crush a shake as you walk in the door here and expect it to be all good.
Like a solid 45 minutes plus.
Right.
No more than 2 hours if you're taking a shake, but like 45 minutes, hour-ish.
Right. Using some common sense there, like what's a good amount of time where I can, digest this to some degree, but then be able to pull from it, like you're talking about in the workout. I think another one, we'll just kind of transfer over to like post and keep it on the protein train, is obviously having the post-workout protein is awesome. There's kind of like there's some research one way and the other about like an optimal window to consume that. And I would say get it in as soon as you can, essentially, and start that recovery process. And having the amino acids start to like repair and everything start to kind of protein synthesis gets rolling. And I think another one that people ask about a lot is creatine. So like me, for example, I use a flavorless creatine and put it into my protein shake, because then it's just in there. Like there's no reason to go get some flavored
two birds,
creatine.
one stone.
Yeah, like you don't need to be drinking a bunch of things all day long. Like just throw it into a shake. Everything's in there that you need. Creatine, it helps basically with recovery after high intensity like bouts of exercise. So it encourages the protein synthesis process to start to take place. It'll support strength and power gains. And it's a very small dosage. That's only 5 grams really that's required a day. Anything in excess of that, your body is going to get rid of it and not need it. So, this whole creatine loading stuff, it's, you need 5 grams a day. So it's a very small scoop. It is very easy to do. And it's one of the few things that honestly there's almost no negative really studies. There's no negative findings or anything against it really. There's the smallest little thing is if you happen to have a sensitive stomach, it can sometimes be a little bit hard on the stomach lining. But best way to go about that is stay super hydrated. Like just keep your water level up the whole time, and you should be good there with creatine. So it helps with water retention in the muscle, which is where you want it to be, not in other areas. So there's that. During the workout, I'm sweating a lot. How can I counter my sweat loss on the spot?
So on the spot, electrolytes, guys. Electrolytes.
Electrolitos.
Yep. Electrolytes is what's going to help you be able to still have that energy and not have excessive sweat loss, because when you're sweating, you're losing, is it sodium?
Yep.
Right? Okay. I was just making sure.
Mostly.
Yep.
Mostly sodium. And most of the time with electrolytes, it's helping bringing that sodium into your system to be able to, one, keep that energy source. It's still a carb source as well. So you're still going to be able to power through those heavy workouts that are just making you sweat a ton. So that's honestly a big one for during the workouts when you're having a lot of sweat going on.
Yeah. Helps with nerve and muscle function. So,
And even without sweat, because the muscles are using the sodium and things to sodium potassium pump.
Right. And that's when, people sometimes will, after like consistent training or so, they'll have weird cramps or, even like muscle twitching and stuff like that. It's usually electrolyte imbalances. So usually good idea to, we've talked about a little bit of protein before, protein after your workout. So protein on both ends. As always, like, do we do anything else but push protein? I don't know. So protein, creatine for sure, going to help retain water in the correct spots. And also you're going to notice a lot of benefits in protein synthesis, essentially efficiently using the protein that you bring into your body and sending it to the correct areas to be used. And electrolytes during the workout are going to help you essentially quickly replenish. There you go. It was an R. Replenish what you're losing there. Yep. Hydration. So I think all those things are probably, good, at least introductions. If you want to start to pick up a couple of supplements, those are good ones to get started on that you'll start to notice benefits for. And again, just kind of look into the timing or listen back and play the pod back on when you should be taking those things. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, and we'll have more stuff for you guys next week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale Podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.